It's Gigi No Re. Again, back at it again. And you know what? This time, we are having a panel episode where we talk about whatever. And this time we're doing a new thing. It's called, maybe we'll do this again. If you're good, if you listeners are good, good little boys and girls, maybe we'll treat you to another episode of this. This is called Dear Gary. In Dear Gary, this is an advice column. Maybe in the future, you guys can write in with your own questions or submit questions that you cringed at real hard and you want us to go to town on. Anything is possible. The world is a canvas of infinite possibilities, and our palette has infinite pigments. That's the situation we find ourselves in. Now, we've selected some questions that we found. Let me back up a little bit, okay? Dear Gary, what's that about? You ever read an advice column like Dear Prudence or Dear Abby? It's exactly the same thing. Some person who doesn't know anything asks a question, and then the advice columnist gives an answer. So we're going to give our own answers, but I think they're going to be a varying degree of seriousness. We're just going to talk. We have not prepared for this at all. This is going to be an improvisational exercise, and you're going to enjoy it. You're just going to sit there in your car in the traffic jam, and you're going to enjoy it. I'm Daniel. Asa, your voice.
Hey there, friends.
Jim, your voice.
Hey guys, how are you?
John, your voice. No, can't do that. Oh, baby.
It's rough.
What happened?
Tim, your voice.
That's a big bill, but this is Tim. I'm here.
Okay.
That's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, we don't know why John doesn't have a voice, but that's fine.
He forgot which button to push.
Whenever he gets a voice, he can jump in.
I see him trying to push to talk.
Oh, look at
He's
him.
got a really confused look on his
face. That's a sad face.
Poor John.
Oh,
I mean, I love that your optimism, and I love the warmth of the thought that we might have a female listener. I mean,
we're very ambitious.
Possible.
Wait, I hear something.
Yep, there it is. All right.
Back.
For some
John,
reason,
what's
push
up?
to talk isn't working on the Chromebook.
Oh, all right. So that's our compliment of people, and we're gonna dive right in. I think we're gonna keep this one short and sweet, and I think we've got 5 questions we're gonna try to get through.
We're trying to keep it like less than 2 hours, right?
That's right. And I think we've got all of these from Reddit. Some of them are recent, as in a month to a few weeks ago, and some are like 5 years old. No names will be given out. Maybe we'll put the links to the show notes. Who knows? But here we go. Don't take anything we say too seriously, except for the things we mean seriously, and take those absolutely seriously. Okay? But we're not going to tell you which is which. Our first post, our first question to Dear Gary, is posted by Circumference a month ago. My friend is just getting into D&D. He immediately asks me if he can play a half giant, and I tell him it's not a normal race. No, I want you to know that there's been no punctuation up to this point. Is there any way I can make it happen for him? That's our question.
I don't think you read it right because there's literally no punctuation.
Let me try that again.
No.
My friend is just getting into D&D.
Okay.
He immediately asks me if he can play a half giant, and I tell him it's not a normal race. Is there any way I can make it happen for him?
That's much better.
All right. What do you guys? What does Gary say about this?
Maybe we should answer. Maybe we should answer without punctuation. I don't know.
Hold on. All right. I think first time DM here, first time caller.
Long time lurker, first time caller.
No, let him play. Like, I think as long as it fits within the rules, within the Monsters Manual and the Dungeon Master Guide, I think it meshes. That's just me.
I mean, my answer would be WotC dug themselves as whole. I mean, they put Goliath in there, and it's totally normal. So why would you not let him do it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean,
it says a half giant, and he says it's not a normal race, but Goliaths are. Well, I don't know what you mean by normal race.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not in
So
PHP, but
Good job,
is
guys.
everybody up on the lore there?
If this was before Goliaths were put into the
it's 2 weeks
5e,
ago. No, 1 month ago. So it's not.
Okay, then they just didn't know about Goliaths.
Yeah, it's possible because Goliaths are basically just half giants from Dark Sun, but
Yeah,
they're
and if
still not.
And
They're still not what you would call a normal race, though, as in they're not in the PHB or anything.
And where did he get an idea to play half giant?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
actually.
no,
Like, who
seriously,
thinks-
like he had to. Yes,
why not just a giant? Like, what's the other half? I don't know.
Tormund.
What is Torment? Oh,
But
How
he's
does he
not
know?
He's not a half giant technically, but like probably that whole Game of Thrones thing with Tormund being the nursing at the teat of a giant as a child or whatever.
Sean, this is a family show.
Yeah, I think he was actually drawing inspiration from Hagrid.
That's also probably more likely.
Shouldn't have said that.
Like, I don't get this. Is this the fault of Tumblr or something? Like, somebody says, hey, we're going to play D&D, and you immediately think, I want to play a half X. I don't get it.
No. If I had been coming to D&D for the first time, I wouldn't have thought to play anything half.
Yeah. It'd just be like, what race is there? Okay.
I wouldn't have
wouldn't think-
half-assed anything. I would have whole-assed one thing.
Ron Swanson approves of this DM advice. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so use
whole
Goliath, and then if you don't want him to use non-PHB races, which is what we may be able to extract from the term or the phrase, it's not a normal race, then just say, I don't want to use non-PHB races. Can you pick something else? And if he doesn't want to play D&D enough to pick something else, then there's your answer right there.
Or you could do something like
Don't say Warforged.
fudge his numbers on a
Nope.
point buy and give him more strength and con, and then just make him a human and say he can be really tall.
Yeah, or just say he's a half giant.
Just
And
skin
use
it.
a normal- yeah.
Literally just say he's a half giant, and he'll be like so happy.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
you can imagine, the new kids, the new role players, just how overjoyed they are or something like that.
Give him
I
the
mean-
free language of giant. Yeah, you can speak giant.
You're half giant.
John,
You're just
bless your
basically like a
heart.
really big human.
Yep.
We're also nice. Okay, I think we've settled this. Gary has rendered his decision. Our next one is, this was, I don't have when it happened, but just assume that it did happen. So I made, here's the title. New to D&D, parenthesis, help with RP, in parenthesis. So I made a chaotic evil rogue for my first time. He's a bounty hunter. And he's
First mistake.
and he's only in the town of Zeroth is because he has to kill someone. How do I RP as a chaotic evil capital hired, not capital, killer?
Here I go killing again.
So, I actually am more interested in the comments on this one than I am like the actual post itself.
Can you elaborate? Because I did not look at the comments.
I don't
You
know.
read
I
the
haven't looked at the
comments?
comments. Like, I want to know.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh,
Wait.
Hold on. You're more enamored with the comments, but you haven't looked at them yet?
No. I said interested, not enamored. I'm more interested in
you
what the
wanna see what
comments
people
would
say.
be on this. I want to see
Alright.
what people said about this.
Okay,
So,
continue.
well,
Oh, my.
so you can look at the comments, but so it brings up the question: should you let someone play a chaotic evil character?
To begin with.
Nope.
Should they be allowed?
Any opinions?
No.
Nope. Maybe it depends on the campaign or setting or whatever.
It depends. We've had interparty conflict before where PCs have killed each other and it was not a problem. I think this was in 3.5. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah, and then we've had times where it was a problem.
Have we?
You guys remember my character getting mad at you for, or actually me getting mad at you for keeping my character from attacking a guard?
No, I don't remember that. I think we just used social persuasion to keep you from saying your character did it. Like, I don't
Maybe.
think. Do you see what I'm
So
saying?
there was this one time. It was the start of a new adventure. We were excited about an evening of dungeon delving. We had found some kind of hole or into a tomb or something, and used a rope ladder down. And one of our PCs, the last one to go down, he cuts the rope ladder,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I killed you," and we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm chaotic evil."
Oh, yeah.
Later,
And that was a real thing that happened, and that was it. That was a quick end of the night.
so the guy who posted this later on in the comments mentions it's that he made this character specifically because he wanted a chaotic evil character. That was his whole point in making the character.
I
was to
wonder
be
what
chaotic
people
evil.
even mean by that. I mean, I think that just means I want to mess around and do whatever. Isn't that what that means?
Yep.
Someone commented, if you ever need to use the phrase "because I'm chaotic evil," you're doing it wrong.
Yep. I agree with that person.
Don't tell me what I can't do.
In general, I would agree that shouldn't be permitted, just in the interest of we want to play a game that has a certain tone and there are certain expectations that we all collectively have. But I think there can be times when it's okay, as long as the person is not going to get upset when the other players react accordingly.
I think it makes sense when the character would be chaotically evil. Like, in the setting, I think it makes sense.
Like, for instance, I have a couple character classes in my CCQ campaign that you guys haven't seen yet that's what they are. I mean, they're secretly evil characters that you can play.
That's great.
Although you have a reason that you would be going along with whatever the other PCs are doing. But at any point, there's a possibility that you might turn on the other party or do something that they wouldn't like. But I think the whole group just needs to be in on that possibility.
Right. Yeah, I've been having this problem with the game we're playing right now because technically my character is an evil character. But
what if you were to hold up
evil,
your arm and then let a drop of water run down the back of your forearm?
What?
What are you talking about?
For the chaos.
That's a deep cut or something.
Oh,
What is
gosh.
that?
Oh, is that
So
what?
I haven't been.
Did it run down the back of his arm?
I
thought it went down the back of his hand.
Arm, hand. Good Lord.
Well,
I thought it went down the back of his fingers.
I haven't been playing my character evil because it just wouldn't mesh with the party. We've got this
how do you
brethren
know
thing going on. Well, because Daniel and I were just like Warforged, like we're just kind of playing off each
Just
other
because
as
they're
being
the
these
same
big bad boys.
class.
But he is a paladin, which is lawful good. And my character is an evil character, and so it's like if I do anything bad, then I don't know. I felt a personal, just like weird. I just feel weird playing the character. It just doesn't. It's just weird.
I think you lose.
I understand it. I think you're doing it wrong.
I think you're doing it wrong.
How do you
I just
have
don't want to be controversial to the party. I don't want to like screw up everything and like.
I think that being controversial to the party is key in playing a different character.
Yeah, I guess.
You want to be the same as Daniels?
No, I just am.
Well, then play somebody different.
I mean,
I don't
again,
want a PvP.
a lot of the comments.
I don't know if you have to PvP though.
You don't.
I don't think you do.
There. But a lot of the comments in this thing, and I mean, there's not a whole lot of comments, but most of the comments are people making the point of, hey, this is kind of inherently a cooperative game, so you got to take that in consideration when you're creating your character and their motivations and everything. So,
yeah,
like if you don't, then okay, I guess you could go that route, but it may not end up well. You know, everybody may not be happy.
Yeah, just look at the comments.
Yeah, so we got the edgelord like factor again there. But I feel like as long as this character isn't like independently wealthy and the target isn't like obviously an easy kill, like it's someone who's actually important enough to hire a bounty hunter for and not just like knock off with a random thug, I feel like an evil character could cooperate to their end and be a good party member.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think probably if you want to play an evil character, just say that you're evil and make sure the other players are aware of it. And you yourself be okay with being PvP'd.
And hopefully everybody else in the group,
because it could come to it. Yeah.
Hopefully everybody else in the group at that point will roll their eyes and release a big sigh and pressure you into changing your character.
Now, you shouldn't be like flagrantly. You shouldn't be flagrantly.
I don't know about that, Tim.
Or like sociopathic. I mean, because then he'll just be like really boring and a short-lived character.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand why people want to be sociopaths in games. Like, I can understand. Oh, it's my 58th time playing a D&D campaign. I want to do something a little different here. But why is it? Oh, it's my first D&D campaign. I want to be Hannibal Lecter, but dumber, because that's what this guy wants.
Yeah, it's
I
like
can do whatever I want. Burn everything down.
I mean, my thing is like, even if they do, what does it matter if you're facilitating to their character?
Well, I just mean their character won't be very long lived in the gaming world, or
Granted.
it's just like in real life, like the arsonist. I mean, what happens to the
if you
arsonist?
act like a sociopath in real life, you'll get treated like one, and you'll end up.
President of the
Locked
United
up.
States and listen, that's not a comment per se
Hold
on
on.
the current status, but in general.
You can't see me. Hold on.
What are you doing, Asa?
I'm dabbing.
Are you dabbing? Yeah.
Is it a real
So
dab or
hard.
a micro dab?
Yeah.
No, it's a full-on dab.
So I just mean if you're playing a realistic sociopath, like an actual chaotic evil person, I mean, really, they're not always like that or something like that. Like
No.
mostly they have to blend in with everybody else, otherwise they'd be killed or
You would
jailed.
Always
something.
be
Exactly.
called out for being evil.
Oh, and we shouldn't overlook this has real life consequences. Like everyone is going to think you're a jerk.
Yes,
You're always
John.
blowing everything up.
Yeah.
John,
Everyone would be like,
see,
"Oh,
I
you're,
didn't-
you're that guy. You're that kind of
you're that guy,
person."
John.
So he's not the character's not chaotic evil, but he's evil in that he doesn't care about anything except himself. Like literally doesn't care about
he's
anyone
neutral
else.
evil.
They call that selfishness.
Yes, and so I don't know. I've been able to justify going along with the group just to get my.
Can
get
you
whatever I
justify
need,
going and
or
getting
whatever.
your wallet from Tim?
That's a really inside joke there, Asa. Hey, John, we should just have a heart-to-heart in game about it.
I think
Yeah.
you guys are
My
fine.
character and your character.
Your character can convert me.
Yes.
to
No, I
Catholicism,
think you
whatever it is
guys
that you're
would.
in.
I think this would be great. Please do it.
You will
Yeah,
not
like I'm
inherit
totally
the
okay.
kingdom.
I'm totally okay with you being like that. It's like an objectivist perspective or something. Like
Hey, don't
you're
slander
fine.
my bae.
Hey, look, I'm giving them open source. It needs to be wide open for these babies.
I would say Ayn Rand is lawful neutral, not chaotic evil.
I think everyone knows she's lawful neutral,
Yeah.
but
Oh my God.
who posted that? Hold up.
That was Tim. Good job, Tim.
Tim.
He put a good meme of Ayn Rand with the deal with it glasses in chat. I appreciate that. All right,
but
Nice.
I think we've talked this to death. I think it's time for the next question.
we should just have our own episode about that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Next one.
Dear Gary,
Running a game tomorrow. Thank you, Jim. Yes, dear Gary.
Yes. Yes.
Running a game tomorrow, and I've completely forgotten how combat works. Could someone kindly explain it to me like I'm a dumb baby?
Combat does not exist. It's not a thing you should worry about. And go ahead and hide under a blanket.
Forget that 80% of the rule book is dedicated to combat. Doesn't matter. No. Okay, so first you look at the rules of the rule book and then memorize them and then apply them as the situations that are relevant to them emerge in the game. That's
In
all.
all
minute.
sense-
Memorizing them that's just so much because it's not just memorizing the DM stuff. It's memorizing everything in the PHP.
No, it's not.
No,
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 it's
no,
not.
it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. No. What you need to do is look at what you've prepared for the group that you're presenting to, and you need to see within that what you need to prepare.
But what if you're playing for a
And
bunch
then-
of baby DM players that don't know anything about their character?
Well, for all intents and purposes, that's what I'm doing.
That's not true. We know all about our characters.
Suck it. Hold on. Suck it.
No,
No,
really,
but
you don't need to
seriously,
know anything about.
you don't need to know You don't need to know anything. You just need to know about the area that you're preparing for. That's it.
No, he's saying combat, not
Oh
module.
God, even less than that then.
Yeah, you just need to know the basic things. You roll a d20
Yep.
versus a DC, which is an AC in combat, and then you roll damage on top of that, and you can look everything else up.
yeah, and you need to roll who is going to go first. Some kind of initiative thing.
Yep.
It's okay.
Even less than that, like I've focused on more mob mentality as far as it comes to dice rolling than individual initiative.
What in the world are you talking about, Asa?
You'll see next round.
What does that even
Sounds
mean?
Sounds like a bunch of commie bull.
Like, I literally don't understand what you were just saying.
It's communist BS. You'll see.
So,
We will see.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I mean, is it a sign that we're having to answer this question and that we spend so much time on combat? I mean, this is clearly a game about combat, right?
I mean, that is what takes up a lot of time in rules. For sure. But part of that is because it's the most high stakes thing that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the answer should have been something like, man, pick up your book and read it, or just roll a d20 and roll some other not d20 dice, and then just go with it.
This was submitted 3 days ago, so it's current.
Yeah, so he could do things to simplify it. I think he should still roll dice, but I mean, use average damage. Not really, just fudge a bunch of stuff and make it fun. I mean, that's totally fine, right?
But basically, if you've got a player that knows more about it than you, just go with what they say. Like,
and you know,
cares?
I also was reminded.
You guys seen John though?
So this great cheat sheet by I don't know, God, I can't even pronounce his name. Kill Chyna guy.
Oh, Kyle Chenier.
Chyna, is that how you pronounce it?
Yep, Kyle Chenier.
Yeah. Oh, I've used this sheet a lot of times, and it's just like a single page for all like the random combat rules and common conditions, magic concentration, death, dying, healing, stealth rules, and then all the movement and action rules in combat. And it's a single sheet, and it's super nice.
Yeah, I don't know if WotC has put out something like that other than the DM screen, which is a really good thing to get if you're a newbie. Honestly, the official DM screens are good. But
yeah.
But basically, it's just a specialized instance of the general task resolution mechanism, which is roll a d20 plus modifiers versus some difficulty class, and then perform whatever happens after that, with whatever happens after that being specified by the spell conditions or just by rolling a damage die and subtracting it from HP. Done. That's pretty much it. All right, how do you make... Oh, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
All right, I think we're going to move on to our next question.
Okay, dear Gary.
Thank you. Dear Gary, how do you make nat 1s or nat 20s memorable? I personally don't do anything to make them memorable. I just literally follow the rules of the rule book, and that's it.
You can't make every single one memorable.
I mean, you can. They only happen 5% of the... 10% of the time in total.
But that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I guess it is. Especially if you include nat 1s and nat 20s.
Yeah.
So, like,
I could think of a few that were memorable, but it just happened organically.
So here's Jim's rule of thumb. Every time someone rolls a nat 1 or a nat 20, someone dies.
No, but
I mean, I remember rolling a nat 20 on a death save in a campaign when we were doing the Hamlet thing and like running through the dark. That was really memorable, but just because the whole scenario was just the worst thing, and it looked like a TPK, but somehow, by the luck of the dice, we pulled it out, and that was memorable just organically.
Yeah, I didn't do anything other than follow the rules on that.
Yeah, because of the situation.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, some people do critical hit tables and critical fumble tables, but I find that's an added layer of complexity that I don't like, and I'm sure you guys don't want to also have like your legs or arms cut off in addition to whatever else bad is going to happen to you.
No. I mean,
I'm not sure that's ever been entertaining.
Like if I'm reaching into the mill and trying to grab an item out of the mill as it's going into the grindstone, and you make me make a DC, I roll a 1, and you tell me my arm got ripped off. I mean, whatever. That just made sense in the moment. But having a table for that seems dumb.
Also in combat, because you're rolling it so many times, you're going to get a 1 or a 20 eventually, as opposed to a skill check where you have more time to deliberate and choose what to do. Like, you can just not reach in that case.
Yeah.
Whereas in combat, you're pretty much stuck unless you're going to run away, which that usually is going to...
You're the one that chose to put your hand between two-ton stones.
Yeah, and there's an implicit assumption that you know that something permanent can happen to you in that situation. Yeah.
And I'll say, so critical hits, they don't do like that much more damage in combat. Not really.
No.
Maybe just a few points. So like maybe it should just be I don't know, maybe she can make a big deal out of ability rolls or whatever. Skill checks.
Yeah, I think especially go ahead, Asa.
Go ahead. I'm saying the max that you can usually do, even with a max hit, is it sounds dumb, but the most amount that you can usually do.
No,
like
plus an additional
max out dice.
Plus an additional die. Or
right.
You double your dice.
But if you roll those, you can roll the lowest.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be
it's
like.
not like
It
total
still
out.
averages out to maximum damage.
No,
Yes.
it averages out. Yeah, that's right.
Or
So
a little bit
that's right.
better than maximum, maybe.
Yep. So if you roll a d8, then 2 of those will be a 9 damage.
Yeah,
average.
okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
Instead
Right.
of 4.5.
Right. Exactly.
Which isn't like super exciting and nothing you should like narrate and like describe the bloody gore of you driving your
Yes.
spear into someone.
Unless you have sharpshooter.
Well, and there's also character build options that revolve around
Shut
critical
up,
chance.
John.
So if you really privilege mechanically criticals, then you're going to get everyone who's sensitive to mechanical incentives changing their builds, which is probably not what you want to do.
Dipping fighter and taking champion.
Yep, exactly. So don't
So
worry
they can
about
have
it unless maybe outside of combat, I would say. Well, at least in games that are mechanically heavy in combat, even to the level of 5e, which is not as heavy as a lot of games, but there's that. All right, our last question of the night, I think, unless anyone has brilliant insights to add. Is it more... Oh, sorry. Dear Gary, is it
Thank
more immersive to describe everything the PCs see or only major features and let PCs interact with the world? I thought... So this is non-ironically a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that it's better to let them see the major features and then figure out the rest for themselves.
I
Yeah, or-
completely disagree.
Ooh.
I'm on the opposite end.
I think Jim is not sincerely disagreeing. That's just
Okay.
my thought. Go ahead, Jim.
Look,
So-
I think that... Go ahead, Jim. You say your thing.
So what I would lean toward in general, and I think this is a good thing for a couple different reasons, but I would describe the space, major features of the space, and then as the players sit around like thinking about what to do with it, you just kind of keep going on and just like adding additional stuff to it, like other features of the space.
Let
Not
me
just give
say
like-
that I don't think that the stuff that WotC describes or puts in the flavor text, I don't think that is adequately describing the area that you would be involved in.
You don't think?
No, if I were describing it, I would go outside of what WotC describes.
Yeah, so if you're describing like a kitchen and it's 20 by 10 and there's an oven
kitchen.
there with a thing cooking on it right now and there's a door on the left side halfway down or something like that, and it's empty, there's no parent creatures here or whatever. Well, you could briefly describe that, and then as the players are sitting there staring at each other, trying to figure out what to do or who's going to actually say something, say, yeah, it's just a kitchen. There's a counter on the right side. It's got knives on it. It's got carrots. Someone's been chopping carrots. They're getting their mise en place all ready to go for the evening service at the fortress. Yeah, so I think that's a good way to do it. I wouldn't just I feel like it's not very interesting to say, oh, there's an exit on the left side and the oven, that the oven's being used right now and there's something cooking in it and that's it, because it doesn't really say much about the space. I don't know. Maybe they made it suspicious of it,
I'm going
there's so
to
little.
slightly disagree. In that, thank you for that concrete example.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in this case, if we're in a dungeon, for instance, as opposed to outside, I would say it's a kitchen, door on the left. And then if they were to ask any further questions or seem interested in exploring the space, then I would go into it. Because
That's exactly what I was going to say.
The oven's important too, though.
how do you know the oven's important? Because all
Because I
kitchens
just-
have ovens.
No, I listed it. It's something that's cooking in it right now. Something weird.
Well,
Hold
if it's
up.
weird, I think you should definitely mention it.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Definitely.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, 'cause it's
In
out
that
of the
case,
norm.
absolutely. If there's something cooking in it right now, I would always mention it. Now,
If
they
there
may
was
not,
something focused
yeah,
on anything in a kitchen, like say I'm describing something for the first time, if there was anything abnormal and anybody showed any interest in it, I would definitely focus on that.
Yeah, so from a psychological perspective, I feel like you give them some basic constraints, and then you kind of constrain it more and more and more until they come to a decision. Because when it's very basic with very few features, they may be like stuck wondering kind of what to do, and you can kind of funnel them along, kind of help them along by like fleshing it out more as they're sorting it out. And I guess that's why I would continue describing it, not wasting their time, just like, oh, it's this thing. There's this thing over here. It's real quiet.
I guess my
Well,
rule of
good
thumb
in
would
here.
always be when you entered a room, describe the basic layout of the room, and then give one detail, and then wait for them to ask for more. And the reason I say give one detail is because if there's something special in the room, you don't want to just be obvious, like, okay, we went into this room and he didn't give us any details. We went to this room, didn't give us any details. We come into this room and he gave us this strange specific detail. I'm obviously going to look into that. But if I give one detail every time you go into every room, maybe or maybe not, there's something to check out when I mention that detail. I don't know.
I don't want players like straining their imagination over the possibilities of what could be here or something like that. Instead, just frankly tell them, just flesh it out for them when they're when they're paralyzed with the possibilities of what could be going on.
Because what happens when there is nothing going on in one room and you keep continuing on, and it's 2 rooms before you find anything that continue on to the story.
2 rooms, Asa? Sorry.
2 rooms.
That's not a lot of rooms in my experience. So the thing is, I think all of us are giving slightly different emphasis on something that's possibly able to be conjoined into a single approach, which is if the room is of a certain known type, like a kitchen or a living room or a bedroom, you can just say that with the players assuming with their knowledge of what that word means, what's in it. And then they can just say, I want to search. And then if they say that, or if they say, I want to spend some time looking around, as opposed to just hitting the next door, then you can give them the interesting thing, unless it's obviously weird. So I guess if I am going to present an algorithm, it'd be describe the kind of room it is, if that's a kind of room that exists, as opposed to some super weird, strange room that you're in. Then anything weird that exists. And then if nothing's there that's weird, don't say anything about it. There may be hidden stuff still that might be revealed if they search. But unless something is obviously weird, given the kind of room it is, don't say anything about the room other than its exits.
And I would add, don't be afraid to make it more concrete to cause the players to make a decision instead of wondering about, because unfortunately, you have to deal with players and they're people with their own opinions and beliefs and, different visions of what it could be, what this kitchen could look like. And so they're all like no one is maybe stepping up or something like that and doing anything, or no one is taking initiative. You just flesh it out for them and, there's nothing else exciting in this kitchen except for that.
Yes. Staying on what Jim says, if there's anybody that agrees with me, there's nothing wrong with being wrong.
So many times I think, what is he talking about? But then I just accept it. And I admit this is just Asa speaking, and I have to submit myself to that.
This is your life now.
Yes.
I love your voice work. Maybe we need some more of that.
Yeah, that seems to be popular with the listener. The listener likes the Asa's voice work.
So, have you been preparing an Australian for us? Is it ready?
I have. I've actually listened to what we've done in the past, and I have no idea what they think is the Australian voice. So I'm still confused.
No. There was a lack of Australian voice. That was the problem.
Oh, core blimey.
Okay, keep rolling more.
All right. Now I'll get it then.
Just work on it.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
No, we can't get into this. Next thing, there's going to be Monty Python impersonations. We can't go there.
Okay, wait. What about New Zealand? You got a Kiwi accent? Wait, is that racist?
He's freaking gone, man.
All right. So this has been, what was this, 5 questions of Dear Gary. If you enjoyed this, there's no accounting for taste. If you did enjoy this and you want to see another Dear Gary in the future, send us questions. You can contact us on ggnorecast.com or ggnorecast on Twitter, or you can be a bro. Go to patreon.com/ggnore. Join up at the $1 a level, the minimum level, and you can get on our Discord, and you can send us whatever requests you have for Dear Gary questions or whatever. You can just hang out with us. We're cool guys. We're on the cutting edge of society in general, also RPGs. So you can hang out with us and the cool patrons and see what you see there. Next time we have a GG episode, it will be continuing the Essentials Kit of D&D 5e, which Asa will be DMing. And John will be chaotic eviling in.
What?
So when you see me,
You better be.
A next episode, my character is killing John's character. Probably.
You're gonna kill your. You're going.
I hope
down.
so.
John, be true to yourself, man.
I'm going to cast Divine Sense or whatever that is, where I detect evil things, and I'm going to detect John, and then I'm killing him in his Warforged sleep. Gigi no Re. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, sweet listener. Sleep well.
Wait, can we have a bonus question?
What's the bonus question?
Dear Gary, I have this player that insists on describing how he kills everything in the game in gory detail. Every time he gets a kill, he gets really excited and wants to describe it. And that's what he considers role-playing. What do I do with this character, Gary?
And to hear the answer for that, you'll have to listen to our next episode of Dear Gary on Gigi no Re.